Hey, primates, links to the video we react to today are in the description below. Also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as hit the little bell to be notified whenever we go live or put out new content. It really helps us out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show. Let's check this out. I've been wanting to see this one.
Wendigoon
and we're
is
gonna
a horror...
we're gonna call this one the last video of the night by Shoe on Head, The War on Normal Guys. I think this is about Wendigoon. I'm not sure if it's not, but if it is about that situation, I've been looking for like a video to catch up on this whole Wendigoon situation. So let's check this out real quick. After this, we're gonna wrap it up, my dudes. Let's go! Like, as always, I'm gonna link this on the Discord. Please go drop them a like, go drop them a sub. They deserve it. Absolutely great content made by Shoe on Head. Go!
Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with several million subscribers. Has a dark past with deep ties to far-right extremism. Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. He is friends with Mutahar. He is publicly friends with Shoe on Head, who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist.
A conservative masquerading as a leftist.
Bad conservative horror movies. And I was immediately intrigued. I love long video essays about stupid shit like this. But what I got...
Yeah, but 3 hours is like, I can't react to you. Like, not even like, because I can't react to you, but it's like, bro, I can't stay entertaining for 3 hours on a particular topic. You get me? Like, I get bored.
Instead, was the worst attempt at a hit
so I can't even react to it.
Seen on YouTube.
Plus, it will take up the entire stream.
So sit down and get comfy, because it's time for an old-fashioned video response.
I love that she's wearing the freaking Hawaiian shirt, by the way.
Now, before we get into this video, I just want to thank today's sponsor, you. This video is sponsored by all of you who donate to me on Patreon.com. Thank you all very much.
But I appreciate
made you some cookies. These are just for the people who support me on Patreon. Only they get a cookie, not you. I see.
But I want one.
Anyway,
this is BS.
I've been pretty busy lately doing personal life things, but when this went down, I was like, I can't not respond to this. But by the time I was done with the script, the man had already deleted the video after it was downvoted to hell. But even though the video is gone, I still want to
right now. I can't afford artwork.
3 reasons.
But you can always drop off your stuff on our Discord if you want.
I'm tired of these type of people running their mouths.
Check it out down in the links below.
This topic is pretty timeless. And that topic is what I like to call the war on normal guys. Last year I wrote a script for a video with this title, and it was about the YouTuber Wendigoon being cancelled on Twitter. For those of you who don't know, Wendigoon is a popular YouTuber who makes video about true crime, horror, and cryptids. And no, despite popular...
Here's the biggest thing though, like, I really, like, I that's what I've been hearing. I haven't seen or heard anything about, like, it being, him being like a political dude. You know what I mean? I never heard about that.
Wendigoon has nothing to do with gooning. Wendigoon is what most YouTubers who don't make political videos should be. His channel is completely apolitical. I don't like clicking a video about iCarly and then having to listen to you about how much you hate Trump, or clicking a video about Fallout and hearing you go off about how Joe Biden sucks. I don't care. If I wanted to hear milquetoast political opinions, I would watch my own videos. But no, despite being non-political, Wendigoon is a great channel. He has a good community, he's very positive.
See, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I know this is off topic, but to this degree, this is why I'm trying to avoid so much, like, reacting or talking about anything that's not about the freaking game that I'm playing during the week, you know, because it's like, that's what these Fridays are for. So it's kind of like, when you click on a video, you want to stay on topic, you know?
He's a Sunday school teacher, he has a beautiful wife, he's friendly, funny, and kind, which of course makes him an enemy to the most annoying people on earth. Month after month after month, I would see threads on Twitter and on Reddit about what a terrible person Wendigoon was. But when I would go searching for reasons why, there was really nothing besides vibes. I simply do not like Wendigoon. He has bad vibes coming off him like stinky lines. The vibes on this guy have never been right. I live in the Bible Belt. He has the vibes of the kids who would have been comfortable saying racist and homophobic slurs and bullied me in grade school. He always gave me weird vibes. Deeply uncomfortable vibes from this guy. I initially unfollowed him because I started getting weird vibes from him. There are evil energies surrounding this man. Wait, what?
I'm convinced. I wasn't too sure with the vibes, right? Like, cause like, what the frick's a vibe? But as soon as I heard that his energies were off, like, that makes sense to me now.
He do. He used to be a youth pastor. Some people got weird vibes, and that's fair. It's rare to see a youth pastor with good vibes. What did Wendigoon do? Honestly, a lot of it is just the vibes. I needed more. I needed to hear some real reasons why people disliked this guy. I needed real arguments. I needed a living soy jack meme with a pedo mustache and bisexual lighting to string up and beat like a pinata. Enter in Praise of Shadows, aka Zane. A leftist video essayist straight out of the aging millennial hipster factory. Seriously, why do they all look like this? What genre of man is this? The mustache, the hair, the clothing, post-ironic neo-redneck? You know how some people talk about how women's taste in men gets all weird and f***ed up?
Yeah, I said it too. I'm like, what's the deal with the freaking, like, the jacket with the, like, leather straps?
These are the men. I'm gonna call them birth control hot. I'm in no position to talk about style. I still do my makeup like it's 2009. Zane is a horror movie video essayist who for some reason decided to randomly go after Wendigoon and several other popular YouTubers and myself. His video starts off with him complaining that he got a lot of hate for his take about the movie Hills Have Eyes.
The hill people can be representative of anything that you want them to be, really. They can be Native Americans, and the hills themselves can be allegorical of them being forced back onto reservations.
I feel like you and I remember that movie way differently.
You saw a bunch of cannibal mutants and thought of Native Americans? Anyway, he goes on to talk about how people were misrepresented.
Not only that, but very aggressively cannibalistic mutants.
Him and leaving rude comments.
The cruel and untrue things that you say about another person do in fact have direct impacts on them and the way that people culturally see them. Are these your own genuine original thoughts and criticisms that you have based on my actual words and things that I have done, or that maybe you haven't thought critically about what you were reading online? About other people?
You didn't do that about anybody you mentioned
a lot of his
at all.
subscribers stopped watching him, and now he's poor and can't afford rent.
There was a month last year where I only made $500 in ad revenue. I can't live off that.
I wish I was making $500 off ad revenue.
If you're ever
I
at
could
this point,
live off
you
of
need
that.
to get a job, or at least a side job. That's capitalism meritocracy. Either make better content or get a job. Hey, maybe if we get communism, you can be the community YouTuber. No, I'm just kidding. Your ass is going to the mines! Then finally, an hour into the video, he gets to the topic, conservative horror movies. But then suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, it was like he accidentally uploaded a schizophrenic meltdown.
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes. It's like 30 minutes at, like, randomly.
If you're not aware, Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with several million subscribers that, as you will hopefully come to see, should not be seen as the wholesome, southern-friendly dad persona that he has.
I just feel like he thought he had something against the biggest horror, like, YouTube guy, and he thought he was gonna be able to, like, knock him down and stand on his pedestal afterwards, but it, like, didn't go the way he thought it was.
Constructed around himself
like,
in the past several years. And that, like many people who talk about
like,
being
now I'm gonna start
Christians
watching
as much as he
Wendigoon
does,
stuff.
has a dark past with deep ties to
We just kind of
far-right
went
extremism.
crazy on the
Ooh,
meme
this
stuff
sounds pretty
today,
bad.
but
He's not the heckin' wholesome YouTube dad we all thought. What could he have possibly done?
There are many things that are red flags that we could talk about, from the bizarre gun ownership.
Yikes! An
Bizarre
American man owns
ownership.
guns? Not very heckin' wholesome, Wendigoon. He goes on to talk about how Wendigoon is rich, and therefore he doesn't respect Wendigoon's opinion on media.
He became exceptionally wealthy by the time that he was 19 or 20. I have
the fact that you have money in your wallet means that you do not know how to enjoy movies.
no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire.
Like, what exactly is the correct amount of money to have where your opinions still matter? Like, if you suddenly got a bunch of video views and a bunch of patrons like you want, would we
under $500 a month?
be
That is the
justified in
correct
dismissing
number.
your opinions on movies? This honestly just feels like a conservative's idea of what a leftist is. Like, it's not just about hating people for having money. Like, what is Wendigoon's position of power in relation to the means of production? Does he own a business? Does he have employees he's mistreating? Not that I know of. He's just a guy who makes
he
YouTube
just makes
videos,
bank.
like you. Only difference is he's good at it and makes money, and you're not,
Yeah.
and you don't. Okay, for real though, there's gotta be more, right? What crimes has Wendigoon committed? Well, to start, he committed the crime of
None,
having
actually.
friends.
Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. They have been seen together on multiple occasions, and I've seen online mentions that Tom was either at his wedding or at the very least was invited.
They have been seen together. I have seen online mentions that he was at his wedding. He's saying this shit like Turkey Tom is wanted for murder, and not like he just said some slurs on Discord when he was a teenager. Does this guy vet like every single person he's ever been friends with or spoken to? Hey, before you enter my house, I'm gonna have to go through your Discord history from 7 years ago. I was gonna say no, but I can see this guy doing that.
Wendigoon is publicly friends with Donut Operator, and even retweeted a photograph
Bro,
of
there's no way I'm gonna be able to check everybody I own. Like I'm too lazy. Screw that.
the two
Luckily,
of them
I
hugging.
personally
Donut
myself
Operator
never
is
really
a
posted a
gun-crazed,
lot.
very far-right
whatsoever,
YouTuber
so-
with 4 million subscribers. His content is very pro-state, pro-cop, pro-gun, and pro-death to people who don't share his beliefs propaganda. For example, one of his videos is titled, Predator Takes Shotgun to the Face.
I love the example he used as a literal pedophile being killed. He's very pro-death for people who don't share his beliefs. Take, for example, this pedophile. Is that what you mean by people who don't share his beliefs? Out of all the videos, why that one? You're not gonna find many people who are gonna be like, oh no, the poor child molester.
Oh no, how dare you put a force multiplier in front of his face!
Well, maybe you will, but most people won't. Also, he's trying to act like Donut Operator is just a complete simp for the police, and he's really not. Even in the screenshot you show in the background, there's like 3 whole videos in frame where he's clearly being critical of the police.
For someone who supposedly is so very anti-government.
Oh yeah, that
Wendigoon
Acorn Cop situation was freaking wild, dude. That was so dumb.
seems very comfortable with
That
a
was
man who
so
makes his
dumb.
living worshipping violence committed by the state. And the only thing that one could reasonably gather from this picture of them hugging is that he too is a fascist bootlicker himself.
Actually, we can't reasonably gather anything because
Yeah,
you haven't given us
it's
anything
just like
to
2
gather.
people that are
You label
hugging,
this
bro.
guy very far right, and he might be very far right, but you haven't shown anything very far right. Like, take a step back and evaluate the bare basics of what you just showed us. Wendigoon hugging someone who thinks it's okay when a pedophile dies. Okay, but let's be fair. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's something worse. Let's see.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening rape.
Okay, so first of all, let's rewind. This
Yeah,
guy is not a
I've
gun
heard
tuber.
about this-
just
this
proved
image.
This man
This is
did
bad.
absolutely no research. I'm talking like 2 seconds going to this guy's channel amount of research. And for those who are unaware, that rape thing is a complete lie. It is a complete lie made up by, sit down, Sneeko.
Sneeko made it
that
all
up, and Sneeko had to apologize and admit it was a lie because it was literal slander. I just love how in his little BreadTube tryout video, he uses Sneeko as a fucking source. I mean, it's not like his other sources are any better. His other sources being Reddit. He got like 90% of this information from a thread about Wendigoon in a drama subreddit called Our YouTube Drama. This man like
No
borderline
freaking way.
plagiarized Reddit
Mr.
comments.
Gamer, do you hang
Source
out there?
Pee Poo Poo
Tell me the
123 and
truth. Don't lie to me.
Sneeko. Nice job on the research, you fucking hack. Also, I love the screenshot he's using. This you, bro. This you showing sympathy to someone whose grandfather is dying.
He has collaborated with Nick Crowley, who constantly makes money through the most morbid and shameful true crime content, of showcasing the last minutes of people before they are suddenly and unexpectedly killed.
So I don't know much about this guy, but it seems like your issue with him
Yeah,
is
it's like
that he
true
makes
crime
true
stuff,
crime
like I
content.
see on
mean,
TV and
personally,
stuff.
I'm not a huge fan of true crime content, but it's extremely popular on YouTube.
Crowley is similar to
Yeah.
Wendigoon, in that on the surface they seem fairly edgy, but clean enough. But then you notice
There's,
that
like,
he follows
podcasts
less
and
than
stuff
200
about
people
that
on Twitter, and among them
as well.
are the same circle with names like Wendigoon, Plagued Moth, Turkey Tom, Mr. Ballin, and Donut Operator.
On the surface, they look clean enough to pass the vibe check. But then you look closer and notice he follows people who don't pass the vibe check.
These people hate the
Yeah, they refused to catch cheese balls in their mouth.
police, and yet they're always like, sir, I'm gonna have to take a look at that Twitter follower list. Just absolute cop behavior. ACAB includes the follow police.
Wendigoon is publicly friends with Brandon Herrera, who has made jokes that implied that he was sympathetic with public shooters
That's
who
one thing that I'm definitely gonna be screwed on, because I subscribe and like everything and everyone that I react to and talk to, and just random people that ask for support on Twitter, I'll just give them support. And so it's like, I'm pretty sure eventually somebody's gonna pull one of these. I'm gonna be like, bro, I don't even know who the frick I followed. I really don't.
leftist. I've also seen
I
people
really don't.
insinuate that Herrera was with Wendigoon in the days of being part of the Boogaloo movement, but I cannot find substantial proof on if this is true or not.
So
but
why
I've seen
repeat it?
several comments saying this, so online it is at least culturally believed to be true.
Hey guys, I heard praise of shadows a dog. No, I don't have any proof, but it's culturally believed to be true.
Yeah,
He
it's
is friends
culturally
with
believed
Oompaville,
that
a gun-obsessed
this guy right
content
here
creator.
likes to bang
Oompaville! What the
dogs.
hell did Oompaville do? He's not even political whatsoever. I guess that's the problem, isn't it? But no, you're a bad person if you shot a gun even once. This is America. That's like saying you're a bad person if you ate a cheeseburger. His other example of Oompaville being bad is making videos about Nikocado avocado. As if
This is a weird argument because he genuinely thinks Nikocado avocado is like some kind of mental patient.
anyone and their mother has not made a Nikocado avocado video. This is ridiculous. There has to be more.
He is friends with Mutahar.
Mutahar? Really? If someone can't be friends with Mutahar, they can't be friends with anyone. That dude is like so not problematic.
And has recently showcased a great deal of transphobia in his most recent video.
Okay, nothing in Mutahar's video was transphobic at all. I don't even know why I have to entertain this. Simply talking about a trans person isn't transphobia, and I wish that we could like move past this and just treat trans people like human beings and not like these like delicate little angels that we need to like step on eggshells around. It's really f***ing weird.
Who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites.
He believes in the concept of free speech for everyone. Wow. Just like the Nazis. This is what you're using to paint Mutahar as a bad person in order to paint Wendigoon as a bad person. You're running out of paint, bro.
Wendigoon is publicly connected to the Internet Historian, and has even appeared in his videos. The Internet Historian publicly said that his birthday was April 20th. It is not, and has only said that as a joke because that is Hitler's birthday.
Ah yes, April 20th, Hitler's birthday.
Wait,
There are no
really?
other jokes surrounding the number 420. It's a weed joke. It's like making a joke about the number 69. This is either extremely dishonest manipulation,
I had
saying
no
April
idea
20th instead of the number 420
that was
so people wouldn't notice,
Adolf's
or you are
freaking
profoundly
birthday.
mentally retarded, sir. Who the f sees a joke about 420 and automatically thinks Hitler? I'll tell you who.
Yo,
Somebody
for real,
with
though.
preconceived notions about others. Everyone is already a bigot, so everything they say is bigoted, instead of the other way around. Looking at bigotry and coming to the conclusion that that person's a bigot. No, you have this insane hater tunnel vision, which is why you're coming to insane conclusions like this.
We could talk about the time that Nick's Fears did a video about the disturbing movie Iceberg, who is a great horror trans creator, and in the comments of her video, he said, "We will be watching your career with great interest," which is just kinda gross.
That is a line from Star Wars.
Yeah,
You really
that's
saw him
friggin-
being friendly with a trans
Yeah,
person.
that sounds like like you do good stuff. Like I like your stuff. I like your
The
content.
trans person being friendly back and came to the conclusion that this was transphobia? For f***'s sake, man, she ooh-wooed at him.
Yeah,
Have you ever
it's
sat
kinda
back
ooh-woo.
and thought, hey, maybe if I have to squint my eyes and tilt my head and glue my balls to my butthole in order
Who
to paint
is
these
fighting
people as
ghosts,
Nazis, maybe they're not
actually, though?
Nazis?
He has interacted positively with Garant Thumb, who has said, "The traditional family
Close.
should be encouraged and strengthened. I see little to no support from the government or big media."
Traditional families? Not traditional families! This is how you know this video was made for one type of person and that type of person only. Because what the are we supposed to be mad at that?
For someone who is supposedly anti-government, he sure does seem to have a lot of wealthy white friends who actively work to uphold the values of the American empire.
For someone who hates the government so much, they sure have a lot of wealthy white friends who hold up the American empire. What the f are you saying? It's like lefty Mad Libs. He's just chucking a bunch of buzzwords at the wall and seeing what sticks. Capitalism, cops,
Yeah,
white,
for a second there, it sounded like he
American
was talking
empire.
about like
Again,
a
he
Star
sounds
Wars
like a
villain. The
conservative's idea
Empire.
of what a lefty would sound like. He sounds like a f***ing Daily Wire sketch character. He goes on to talk about more Twitter accounts Wendigoon follows and how some of those accounts have liked problematic tweets. Now, see, I always thought fascism was hyper-nationalistic authoritarianism, but apparently it's actually when you follow people on Twitter that Walmart Noah Samson doesn't like.
He has publicly interacted in a friendly way with the account Rock Solid on multiple occasions.
Responding to someone on Twitter makes you best friends with that person. Hey, by the way, this you being friendly with YouTuber Sophie from Mars, who is allegedly an abuser, is that you, bro? Because according to your own logic, not mine, that
Is
makes
that
you and her
you, bro?
friends, which makes you a bad person. And personally, I'd rather be friends with people who make jokes on the internet than someone who allegedly puts cigarettes out on their girlfriend's skin. But honestly, I wouldn't hold this against
That's
him. How
messed
is he
up. What the
supposed to
freak?
know? You throw a dart into a crowd of these people, and you're bound to hit a sex pest.
He is publicly friends with Shoe on Head, who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist, who has built a career off of lazy anti-woke content, complaining about SJWs. who says stuff like, Karl Marx rising from the grave finding out his movement has been taken over by fat, ugly, mentally ill losers.
I mean, what's crazy is I could have given you like 20 examples of way worse shit I've said over the years, but instead you choose a random joke I made on Twitter. You just went to my Twitter and found like one of the last tweets I made.
That's the one that affected him personally, though.
Congratulating someone on their wedding day. A conservative masquerading as a leftist is so funny too, because like, what would be the point of that? Am I waiting for like a Soros check? It would be way more lucrative as a woman on the internet to just be a conservative commentator instead of pissing off all sides like I do. Also, the term publicly friends with is so funny. He keeps saying it, and like personally,
yeah, who are you secretly friends with?
Because I have to be privately friends with several public figures
Ayoo,
because they are
Jasmine.
prisoners to their own audience, because their own audiences are full of people like this guy. So I have a lot of respect for people like Wendigoon who will just talk to anyone they want to and aren't scared of these crybullies. Also, I think it's important to say Wendigoon and I talk on Twitter sometimes, but we're not like best friends. I've never even met him in real life. But because he has the audacity to tweet at me, now all my opinions are his. And as for the lazy accusation, you got me. Honestly,
you got me. You got me. I guess I'm screwed. I'm lazy. What can I say?
Go ahead and call me what you like. I take solace in the fact that every woke idiot that comes at me eventually gets their own ass cancelled into the shadow realm, and yet I remain problematic and a moron forever. And I personally can't wait until the inevitable day an army of skeletons comes marching out of your closet.
Sure.
What does bother me, however, is linking Wendigoon to me in order to smear him. My friends and I aren't a hive mind, and that might be easy for most people to understand, but not for these people. People like this guy, they don't have friends. They have enemies and they have temporary allies. They have people they hate and people they will eventually throw under the bus the second that person has a problematic tweet one day.
We'll do that as like the last thing before we end the stream.
That he lives in East Tennessee. It is about as white as you could possibly get. Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise.
Holy shit! All white people from Appalachia are racist until proven otherwise. He's implying Wendigoon is low-key racist because of where he's from. He literally has no proof
just point
otherwise.
blank. If you live in Appalachia,
screen caps, nothing that shows Wendigoon is
you're
racist. But
point blank racist. You actually have to actively work and not being racist.
Because he's from Tennessee, he secretly must be. Making a broad, negative generalization
you got pooped out in
somebody based
Appalachia
on their race, but wokely, so it's okay. Appalachia is one of the poorest areas in the country. And aren't you a poor motherfucker too? I know you don't want to hear it, but the working class revolution is not just going to be full of the purple-haired Starbucks baristas. It's also going to be Billy Bob the truck driver from Tennessee. And you have more in common with those guys than you do the rich bread tubers that you're trying to suck the farts out of currently. So why don't you drop the smug liberal attitude and show some class solidarity, comrade?
Then, of course, there is his username. To the Algonquin people, the Wendigo is a negative spiritual symbol. He has attempted to deflect from criticism over the use of the name by saying that his grandfather was Native American. But I personally have to look at it from the hypothetical perspective, where, say I had a black or mixed grandfather in this situation, and black people were telling me that I was doing something that was racist or offensive to them. I would then listen to what they were saying instead of claiming that I had the right to do it because I had some melanin in me. Especially if I were more or less raised within a primarily white cultural area like the Appalachian Mountains are. And also on top of that, just, frequently associated myself with white supremacists.
Whoa. Where was the white supremacy? You spent like 10 minutes smearing a bunch of people Wendigoon talks to, but not once did you show any white supremacy. Again, just haphazardly throwing around lefty buzzwords. White supremacy!
We could talk about his past and supposedly being a founding member in an online conspiracy theory group that, according to him, snowballed out of control into being a white supremacist neo-Nazi organization called the Boogaloo Boys. In 2020, they killed several police officers in a drive-by shooting in Oakland, hoping that black people would be blamed for the violence, in an attempt to create racial tension.
So basically, Wendigoon was part of a libertarian group that eventually became more extreme and radical over time, and he no longer agreed with the goals, so he left it and he disavowed it. Okay, isn't that what you want? For him to own up to his mistakes and take accountability? You'd have a point if he was still involved in this group, or even if he was part of the group while the group was doing all these terrible things, but He wasn't. It's so funny he had to add this completely made-up factoid that the Boogaloos killed cops in order to blame it on black people, but I couldn't find that literally anywhere. In fact, I found the exact opposite. The Boogaloo Boys made sure people knew it was done by them. And it wasn't to spark a race war, it was to spark more anti-government sentiment. The Boogaloo Boys are a radical libertarian group. They hate cops. So I think this guy made up this thing about them wanting to blame black people, so people in his audience wouldn't think the Boogaloo Boys were cool. Yeah, they killed cops, but not in the based cool way we want to kill cops.
Yeah.
It's probably the most damning evidence they have against Wendigoon, even though he's not involved in this group anymore, but they still it up. Zane was liking tweets from people, glazing him, telling him what an amazing job he was doing for finally going after Wendigoon, our glorious Reddit white knight, basking in the attention and glory of finally slaying the bad vibes dragon. All while Wendigoon left a nice comment on the guy's video, telling people not to be mean to this guy. Well, that sign
that's the best part about it too.
One comment I found on this guy's video was like, loving the Wendigoon fanboys trying to deny that he's conservative. He'll get away with it because he's popular, though. He'll get away with it.
If he's getting
get away with what? The crime of being popular online while not agreeing with you politically? Is that what this expose is about? Wendigoon exposed, not a communist. Nobody gives a
So what if he's a conservative? Is that a problem? Which the answer to that is yes. But the reason that I care is because this does not belong in horror or anywhere. I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces, or even, just in public in general.
What? Okay. First of all, I assure you nobody wants to be in your space, bro. Imagine the smell. But second of all, in public? Wendigoon should not be allowed in public spaces. Wendigoon should not be allowed to exist in society.
He needs to stay in his house.
Twitter friends with people this guy disagrees with on Twitter.
Should not be accepted within society at all. They should not be celebrated. They should be treated for what they are. Because remember, kids,
they should be outcasted back into the forest.
Believe them.
Well, you've told us you're a lying, manipulative hack, and I believe you. But Wendigoon's actions, words, and even comments he left on your video tell us he's a good person. You're so lost in the sauce, you don't even realize all you did to the average viewer was make this guy seem like a kind person who learns and grows from his mistakes. These flimsy accusations and guilt by associations may work for the NPCs in your audience who already hated Wendigoon based on vibes, but you need to bring more to the table than unsourced Reddit comments. If you're trying to convince the average person who isn't terminally online that this guy deserves to be ostracized from society. The fact is, most people have friends they don't politically agree with. Most people make edgy jokes. Many people are into guns. Many support the police. And most enjoy when pedophiles die. These things you listed as like crimes Wendigoon's friends have done in order to smear Wendigoon do not make them fascists or Nazis.
You didn't really pick a good hill to die on, so to speak.
At the end of the day, this was just a witch hunt against a normal guy. But to these people, that is the enemy. The normal guy. They can dress it up however they want, but at the end of the day, that's what this video was.
The average everyday dude.
And it's always been a war on normal guys. But hey, I'm glad you deleted the video. Hopefully you learned from this, but according to your Discord messages, you haven't. Anyway, that was that video. I just really wanted to stick up for
he tried to get away with just like
absolutely
deleting a specific section
Thank
of
you
Wendigoon.
Again to everyone who
But
donates to me
overall,
on
he ended up
Patreon.
deleting the entire thing at the end.
And I will see you all real soon with a new video. Bye!
I'm glad to see like the perspective of the point of someone else as well, who's a little bit more, who was mentioned. But it is interesting to me that she like doesn't even really know Wendigoon like that at all. Meanwhile, he's over here making the point like in Praise of Shadows is over here making the point like they know each other. Like no, they don't.
On the internet.
Not really. Thank you so much, Primates, for watching this all the way to the end. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as hit the little bell for a rainbow explosion that will go ahead and notify you every single time we go live or put out new content. Thank you so much, goodbye, and thanks for swinging by.